There are car dealers, there's Richest car dealers, there's Supercar dealers, and there's Tom Hartley. The world's apart.
This is Tom Hartley, middle school dropout turned billionaire, who has sold over $5 billion worth of cars to the rich and famous, making him Britain's top supercar dealer.
I wasn't learning at school, I was called a dunce. Couldn't read. It was always my desire and my dream to be the most famous and the best at what I do, and that's exactly what we are today. This complex cost 10 million. The lighting system was 300,000, the lift was 275,000. This building's made with handmade bricks, the £2 a brick, £2 a brick. We can at any one time carry stock from 40 million to 100 million. Money's not everything. Well, everywhere I go, money's everything. I founded this business on my own back. The business is worth well over 300 million today. As a mature man yourself and a successful person yourself, you're going to get doubters in life, and if you can't handle rejection, you're never going to make it in life.
This is the story of how a young man went from nothing to becoming a millionaire, only to lose it all and then go bigger and better than before, with his estimated net worth now sitting at around $1 billion. Right, so today we're setting off to visit Tom Hartley. He sent me the address to his estate, and I'm not really sure quite what to expect, but I am certainly very excited. I've always put my success down to passion, as I believe this is the key to pushing yourself past your limits in business and in life as well. So I'm really interested to see what Tom thinks. The next time you see me, I'll be sat down with the man himself. So did you ever feel different to the others at school?
I wasn't learning at school, I was called a dunce. I couldn't read, I wasn't interested. And I was told by a school teacher called Mrs. McDonald that I was going to struggle in my life. I'd start dodging school, and a friend of my father's who owned a taxi business, he was taking me to the auctions, and I'd watch what was happening, because I was interested in watching cars be sold and bought and how auctions worked. So the first deal I'd done, I was just before I was 12 years old.
So you sold your first car at 12 years old?
I bought and sold my first car at 12 years old. I bought it from a guy called Billy Barty. He had a new Range Rover coming, and it was £1,950. I also knew a relative of my father's who wanted to buy a new Range Rover, and you couldn't get them. I put the deal together. It's called supply and demand. And I earned £250, and it was a lot of money. £250 in 1971 was a lot of money. And that was the start of the journey. So some of the heritage here over the years I've enjoyed.
They're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah, you name anybody you want to name, they've all been in this office. There's no computers on here. It's a telephone, piece of paper and a pen. That's what I rely on. Everybody from Andrew Lloyd Webber to the Sultan of Brunei, Rod Stewart, Elton John.
Yeah.
They've all been here, they're all there.
So when you were a youngster, could you really see that you'd have all your family around you as well as these beautiful showrooms?
Yeah, I mean, I had a vision of that, and I'm living it now. I'm living my dream. My son Tom passed his driving test in a Ferrari, and they set up the full television station here and filmed it live.
Amazing.
From here.
Yeah.
Going away and coming back. He's 17-year-old. So
would you say the drive to be the best you could be is what pushed you forward?
Like everything in life, to be successful, you have to take risks. I broke a few rules at that age. I drove on the road at 14.
So did you get stopped by the police at all?
Yeah, I'd been stopped. I was 14, I drove a Rolls Royce. Back in the 70s, guys, when you got stopped by the police, the routine check is nothing like it is today. You could give your name to be Peter Johnston, 17 Main Street. They took that name and address down, and they said they'd write to you, that was it. You never heard no more. Because I was in such a rush to get to where I wanted to get to in life and in business, with the ambition that I had and the dream that I had. I wanted to get there quickly, and I had to break some rules. I discovered a loophole in importing cars. To an extent, it was like a cartel in the business. I was importing at that time probably 10 or 15 cars per week. When I was importing cars in 1978, you got 4.5 Deutschmarks to £1. So the point I'm making for you who can't calculate, I was able to buy cars from the factory, import them, and sell them to dealers in this country. It was just an unbelievable loophole I found at the age of 17, just before my 17th birthday. I was a self-made millionaire. So into classic territory. I recognise this Porsche. I had one of these back in the day from the Wales House. 1976 Carrera. Yeah. And this Ferrari here. Yeah. Is this the most expensive car you've currently got on stock? No, we've got a car downstairs which is 3 million. This is 1.6 million.
So when you'd made that first million, was it all plain sailing from there on?
It just went crash. My world was turned upside down. I didn't lose $1 million because I gambled it or I wasted it. I lost $1 million because there was a technicality brought out because of my success. The manufacturers, the giants, BMW, Mercedes and Porsche, got together on this young kid, 16-year-old. They fetched a law out that you can only fetch one car, one person, and we're talking about a lot of money on deposit here, a big part of the $1 million. Here is a young guy who's made $1 million and lost $1 million, and he's not 20 yet.
How did you feel when these car companies started ganging up on you?
I was overwhelmed because I was out of my control. I couldn't take on Mercedes-Benz. I couldn't take on Porsche cars. I couldn't take on BMW cars. I stood the pain of the loss for my reputation. I get a bit choked up sometimes talking about this. I went back to living in a caravan with my wife. Arriving over there where that McLaren is, I pulled a caravan there. My wife told me I could do it all again.
So what steps did you take to build your net worth back up?
Back to the drawing board, travelling up and down the motorways, collecting, delivering, washing, polishing. I've done it all. We rebuilt it, the business, rebuilt the name.
I always think that an entrepreneur is willing to risk his shirt on his back, whereas a businessman calculates everything.
That I couldn't have just said it any better.
Forgot the pain, but remembered the lesson.
It made me stronger. I knew it was easier to get there the second time than it was the first time because I'd already been there. Once you've tasted honey, it tastes a lot nicer than sour milk. I want peace and quietness. This is where I come to. It helps me concentrate and it helps me focus.
So as you made it back, were you worried that your enemies would take you down again?
Oh yeah. I mean, look, when you're successful in life, you've always got enemies. That's a fact. Whoever you are in life, if you're successful, you've always got jealous people out there who try to be critical. And it's sad that we live in that type of world. As a mature man yourself and a successful person yourself, you're going to get doubters in life. And if you can't handle rejection and failure and mistakes, you're never going to make it in life.
Thousands of deals later, and Tom has gone from strength to strength, which just goes to show his resilience in the face of failure. I then wanted to dive a little deeper into how a business of this size actually operates, what separates the winners from the losers, and the vital traits needed for success. So what is the breakdown of your business if we have to get right down to the nitty gritty?
We can at any one time carry stock from 40 million to 100 million paid on the floor. The valuation of the business today as an independent family business, we don't declare we trade as a private company, so there's never any access to our wealth, but the business is worth well over 300 million today as a brand name. That's just the car business, not the park home business or the holiday park business. Everything I've ever made, I've always reinvested and reinvested and reinvested.
Talking about investing, a great way to get your journey kick-started is by grabbing your free stock worth all the way up to $1,000 from public.com. I'll leave a link in the description.
I've never portrayed to be perfect in everything I do, but buying and selling luxury, performance and classic cars, there's nobody does it better. I've proved it, I've done it, I've lived it.
We're actually sat on a glass floor above multi-million-pound cars in your basement.
Yeah, we're sat on top of a glass floor, which was a creation unlike any other in a showroom. We have a famous car stage known as the Lake, where we would drive cars in the middle of water and we photograph them. That's something that we're branded for all over the world.
How did you come up with the idea of the car stage on the lake?
I created the lake. I phoned my son Carl up at 2 o'clock in the morning 4 or 5 years ago. I said, Carl, I've got an idea. He said, what's that, Dad? I said, we could put a bridge in the middle of the lake and we could photograph cars in the middle of the water. And he actually said to me, Dad, he said, you sound like you're pissed with an idea like that. And he put the phone down. So I said to his mother, so I'll show him how pissed I am. I'm going to do it. It proved to be one of the best things I ever done in my life.
And these photographs on the wall that have been taken on the bridge, or on the stage as I should put it, they're like a history of all the cars that Tom's owned. Then we've got a car going back on the glass screen here, how about that? So you can get a look at the underneath of your Lambo. And as I'd expect, just as pristine underneath as they are on top. Absolutely gorgeous. And what did the showroom cost? Because you're throwing out numbers, £250,000, £250,000 on the lake. All these are big numbers added up. They've got to make a huge number.
This complex cost 10 million. The lighting system was 300,000. The lift was 275,000. There's £500,000 just in 2 items. Air conditioning, sound system, Italian marble, Italian floor tile. There's no end to it. Handmade. This building's made with handmade bricks. The £2 a brick. £2 a brick. Yeah, excuse me 1 second, sorry. Hello? No, take his details. Take his details.
GT2 RS.
That's right, yeah.
Lots of carbon.
Yeah.
What's the sort of value on that, Tom?
350,000.
And you can see the value. You get scaffolding in the back.
Yeah, 350,000, yeah. Scaffold in the back.
So you were an entrepreneur before the phrase even really came about. What would be the best advice or single piece of advice you could give a youngster nowadays?
I would say to be the best at what you want to be, you have to be single-minded. Start thinking about your dream, what you want to be, what you want to do. Start focusing on that. Spend more time concentrating on that. It was always my desire and my dream to be the most famous and the best at what I do, being luxury performance and classic cars. And that's exactly what we are today.
I think you've had a fantastic life.